Welcome, friends, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a podcast created by fans for the fans, and we appreciate you listening to episode 122. I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast, Andy.
I am also your host, no selling wrestling indie fan and football lover, Jeremy.
Again, second week, it is me and Jeremy starting off. Tim's having internet problems, but he just texted me saying he will be on soon.
He'll be here.
Before we get started, please follow us on all social media at the PW Fan. I finally changed the TikTok to instead of the PW Fan Pod because I had to wait a certain amount of time. It's now just
we got
the PW Fan. Yep, I got
Finally.
it. So we are good to go on that end. But this week we will be talking about Mercedes Mone. As Tim likes to point out, the one time I said her name very Baltimore.
Monet.
Mercedes Mone. More Mania matches were made this week. And we had The Rock singing us all a nice little song. And lots
concert.
more to talk about besides that. So, that being said, let's get right into it. With Raw from this past week, Drew McIntyre opened up the show. I remember, again, I always have problems with Raw because it's the farthest away show that I watched. But I remember he made some comments about Punk. It was the farthest away of like watching wise. But I remember there was some stuff he said about CM Punk. One of them being, he said, "Punk, you should be thanking me. I'm the only one keeping your name alive."
Yeah, and something that Andy and I were just talking about before we started recording. We were thinking maybe since Punk's going to be in Chicago next week, and he's still going to be around, maybe he might cost Drew the title at WrestleMania then.
Again, I'm fine with that, just because it gives us a reason to see Punk at Mania.
Exactly.
So, again, we're all going to be crying CM Punk fans there. There was something else he had said about Punk, I think, but it didn't stick out as much, I don't think. Than
he's had the best.
I think the fans were chanting CM Punk, and he ended up saying something.
But he's had the best run on social media being a heel.
Oh, it's been fantastic.
Wrestler. Yeah.
I mean, I know he's talking shit about our boy, but I am enjoying.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like entertaining.
Yeah, he says he's just kind of being himself with these past couple of months, I guess. There was some interview he did, or he was on a podcast. He was talking about it. But Seth Rollins would interrupt and would call him a liar before telling him that he's capable of handling multiple things at once, including defending his title at WrestleMania one night and then taking on Drew the next night. You know, Drew's whole thing lately is that Seth basically has spread himself too thin.
Yeah.
Where he's not focusing on Drew, he's focusing on the wrong things.
So we're going to get The Rock, Roman, Cody, and Seth tag match as night one main event. And then night two is going to be all the title matches, maybe. Or I should say those two title matches.
Well, I think Logan Paul said that his match is going to be on night two, I believe.
So it could be
but there's a lot of title matches.
I know. I was going to say they could put a lot on night two.
Hello,
hey,
Tim.
boyos.
Tim.
Boyos, I made it. Sorry, guys. I had a little technical difficulties, so Andy took care of the intro for me today. But welcome to the PW Fan, and I am Talk Wrestling Tim Gilbert. All right, where you all were.
So a couple things that were said during the segment. Drew said, "We have a future world champion in Drew McIntyre we can actually invest in and be proud of." Drew did do an impression of Rollins and his laugh. And he said, "I'm doing the laugh." He's like, "'Cause that's what you sound like." And then Rollins said, at the very bottom, the thing I'm worried about least.
That's what you sound like, boyo.
Rollins would end up saying that Drew's the least the thing He said at the very bottom, the thing I'm worried about the least is Drew McIntyre, which belittles Drew a little bit, but I'm actually looking forward to this match.
Do you think Drew wins?
Well, again, before Tim got on here, we were talking about what if Punk comes out to Mania, costs Drew the match, doesn't have to get physical, just gets a little distraction. All three of us become crying CM Punk fans, and Seth retains, setting up a future match.
I just need to see him
over the summer.
Everybody was like, I saw a bunch of people being like, why can't Cena and Punk host WrestleMania like side by side? I'm like, God, that would be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Side by side.
Like the two of them as like cool. Oscar, like the host, you know?
Yeah.
After that, we had Becky Lynch defeating Liv Morgan. Rhea Ripley would come out. And I was telling Jeremy, they're kind of like making seem like Liv Morgan's gonna get into the match and be a triple threat, but I don't want that. I want a one-on-one with Rhea and Becky. I don't know about you guys, but if they did it, they'd only be doing it for Liv to take the pin, I feel like, to protect Rhea.
Do you think it could be for her to be like the number one contender afterwards? To keep her like in the title picture.
I mean, Backlash is usually a repeat in some way at WrestleMania.
Yeah, Backlash then
is a triple threat with Liv.
Yeah, it could be a triple threat then.
They could do that.
That'd be better
for sure. So yeah, they had a nice little promo. I mean, Becky looked beat from her match afterwards, but yeah, Rhea hit the ring, walked past Morgan. She talked trash to her, but Becky would end up warning her that she's unstoppable when the world is against her. So, good segment, good match. Moved the storyline along. Really looking forward to this match at Mania. There was the announcement. We finally got an announcement for what they're doing with the tag team titles at WrestleMania, which is, Jeremy, you said they're calling it a 6-pack challenge ladder match?
Yeah. I hate that name for it. Why can't they just call it a 6-man tag match or whatever? Or
6-team ladder match?
6-team, yes. That one.
Yeah. I don't know. But they're doing a tournament for it. It's starting to kick off, I believe, this week. Or it might have started off on... I think it started off on Smackdown, actually, this week. So, Judgment Day obviously wasn't happy about that backstage. There was a couple things going on. But we got some qualifiers this week for it. Cody Rhodes had an interview with Michael Cole where, I mean, it was a good interview, but The Rock would talk about it on SmackDown a little bit more. Cody did end up saying, if The Rock is my boss, I'm not sure that he is, but if he is, it feels great to slap your boss. Michael Cole brought up the elephant in the room, you know, how can Cody Rhodes trust Rollins? Cody would say, people change, and he would bring up smashing the throne, but he has a good relationship with Triple H, and then as well as the partnership he's had with Jey Uso. He said, this story is about all of you who have followed me to the absolute ends, and he said, I can't hand it, talking about the title belt, to Dusty Rhodes, but I sure as hell can hand it to Michelle Rubio.
As soon as Cody started crying.
Cody stayed crying this interview, man.
He stays
and
crying.
The Rock fucking milked the shit out of this week.
Yeah.
With Instagram posts as well as his segment on SmackDown, which we will get to. Well, we got a couple of Mania matches made this week, like I said in the beginning of the show, and one of them was one we predicted. After they kind of teased it a little bit at the Rumble with spots 1 and 2 of Jey and Jimmy. Jey Uso would come out and challenge Jimmy Uso to a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, which is cool because Jey Uso in the past has said that that's his dream match, is him and his brother one-on-one. Brother versus brother has not been done since Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. What was it, 2009?
That's crazy. It's been that long.
This might be... Look, Owen versus Brett is a great match. No one wanted to see Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy.
One of my faves.
You like Matt Hardy versus
Matt
Jeff
Hardy
Hardy?
and Jeff Hardy.
You say no one wanted to see that?
Owen and Brett was great. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy I would have liked more if it wasn't an I Quit match, because I hate I Quit matches with the putting the microphone in the face and be like, never. Jeff was like, never. Dude, it's the worst, man.
That's so funny.
But this is not an I Quit match. As far as we know right now, this is a one-on-one. So, also this week, it was a gauntlet match to determine the challenger for Gunther's international title at WrestleMania.
I thought for a second they were going to go with Chad Gable.
I know. Dude, people were pissed. And Sami Zayn apparently is like bummed that people aren't behind him anymore.
I know. Well, it's like they set it up so it's like it should have been Chad Gable as like the underdog.
Yeah, so I mean maybe they insert him in a triple threat. I don't know, man. I don't know. But right now, it's so I'll get to it. So Ricochet started with JD McDonough. Ricochet pinned JD. Bronson Reed pinned Ricochet. Sami Zayn pinned Bronson Reed. Sami Zayn pinned Nakamura, and then came down to Sami Zayn and Chad Gable, and Sami Zayn would end up winning. Which, didn't we say last week? I was like, well, Owens is going to go for the U.S. title, and then Sami's going to go for the Intercontinental. So right now it's Sami Zayn and Gunther for WrestleMania, man.
It's going to be a good match.
But yeah, people were bummed that Chad Gable was not in it. And we've always been behind Chad Gable here on the PW fan.
Yeah. I think once you get to Mania and then Sami comes out, everyone's going to be behind Sami again because they get past that. But for right now, it's kind of hard.
Is it believable Sami Zayn beating Gunther for the title?
He does the underdog story really well.
Yeah, it's a good underdog one.
You make it a triple threat. You protect Gunther.
What, Chad Gable?
Chad Gable or Sami taking the pin and one of them winning. If you want to take the belt off of Gunther, but not hurt his stack, you do it that way. I'm just saying.
I don't
know. So that's Raw. We had Dynamite this week. Big business in Boston this past week. And it opened up strong with the debut of Mercedes Mone.
Andy said you were going to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she came out. I mean, she cut like a babyface promo. Good reaction. Me and Jeremy were debating before we started. Thoughts on the song?
Yeah, Tim, what do you think about the song?
Personally,
I'm not sure yet.
CEO. It just repeats. I don't like it.
I'm not a fan of the song, but it has a fun vibe, like the Swerve song that people could like do the dance to, and they do the chant. I think people will like it. It's just not for me.
I mean, some people online really like it, but
I think I just need to see it more right now because I don't know yet. I like the CEO as like the gimmick part that she couldn't be the boss anymore.
No longer the boss. She said she's the CEO.
Yeah. So I thought that was
people
a good idea.
on TikTok were like, "Oh, this song's awesome." Well, there was a cooler song that happened this week on SmackDown, but we'll get to that. So yeah, I mean, I think Mercedes being there fucking makes the women's division
lifts it way up.
It brings it up a lot.
Yeah, like you saw, like I know we'll get to the spot in the main event, but you could see the difference between her and a lot of the AEW women wrestlers already.
She came in the end like a fucking I was
also
gonna say boss, but
like a CEO. Then
doesn't have as much of a ring to it.
I know. Did you see Bailey and I forget who else was there?
They were wearing like masks and stuff. It was Bailey. Fuck. Who else was there? It was three of them.
Yeah, it's three of them.
And someone else.
Yeah. Was it like Tamina or something? I forget. Someone like that.
I don't know.
But they were wearing like ski masks and hiding all their faces until they got to their
like no
seats
one
like way up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bailey and Mercedes went to Naomi's match at Hardy Hill, right? Her last match or whatever. We had an Adam Cole promo video talking. I guess it was kind of hyping up the next match, which was Wardlow versus Samoa Joe. Wardlow cashing in his shot. Don't know what the point of him winning in the first place, that title shot, because he lost on a Dynamite. Samoa Joe, choked him out, I believe. So it was kind of wasted opportunity there. The Elite, which is now Okada and the Bucks, would defeat Eddie Kingston, Penta, and Pac.
I would call them the corporate elite now.
The corporate elite. They're all in suits.
Yeah.
When you didn't think you could hate the Bucks more.
See, you know what's funny is that, like, I hate the Bucks just as much as you guys, but they do make it more entertaining when they're on TV.
Did you always hate the Bucks like us, though, or did you come around to hating them?
No, before they were in AEW, I kind of liked them a lot more because
I liked them when they were.
I think probably because I didn't see them as.
Yeah, I liked New Japan Bucks.
I didn't see them as much. I think that's why.
Yeah, once you start seeing it all the time, and you're kind of like, eh.
Yeah,
it's kind of, look, I love me some Danhausen, but if you see Danhausen all the time, it didn't feel special. Like when it would just be like funny clips or like.
And then the Punk stuff. I was like, no more.
No more Bucks. Fuck the Bucks. I'm done with them.
But besides all that, what I'm saying is, like, they make it a good story to be on TV, and that's the annoying part too.
Look, I mean, I will say, like, you can argue that they're not as big as stars as they once were, which, I mean, is honestly probably true. But when they're not there, you know, it is when they're there, it's like you feel like they should be there, because it feels weird when guys like them and Kenny are injured or they're not on TV. So I still feel like, even though they're not my jam these days, like they definitely have a place on the show, because really, I mean, besides a couple other things, what else do they have? They don't got much right now, guys. Besides Mercedes Moné.
Will Ospreay gave an interview in the ring.
This guy
and Okada. But I will say that I'm making the prediction that Ospreay is going to be. He's going to be the guy.
I think so.
Speaking of Ospreay, like I said, he had a interview segment in the ring, and who knew? Well, I read, apparently people at WWE think they dropped the ball of one, they couldn't match AEW's offer, but they were like, I don't think Triple H knew. They think that Triple H knew he was good in the ring, like really good, but I don't think they knew he could talk. And he, during this, can cut a fucking promo.
Yeah, and he said the hardest thing for him is not to curse, which I thought was funny.
Oh, I was cracking up the other day because he did a promo, I think it was a week or 2 weeks ago, where he was like, I'm going to go get pissed with the missus. And Corny on his show was like, for anybody who doesn't know, getting pissed with the missus in the UK means he's going to go get like drunk with her. And he's like, he's not going to go get mad. And then he's like, he's not going to go get mad at her or do anything else. And then Brian goes, yeah, pissing on the missus happens in the Lesnar household.
Oh shit.
It killed me every time.
Funny. Yeah.
God, oh my god. Jay White would defeat Darby Allin, and the Bullet Club Gold would start attacking Darby afterwards. The Acclaim would come out to stop it, stop their buddies from attacking him, and I guess the Bang Bang Scissor Gang is done because Bullet Club Gold would end up turning on the Acclaim. So Darby Allin, they said he broke his foot. Then I'm seeing things like, did he really? But then there's the X-ray. But it's like, if you're using that to write him off television, what's the point if he already announced he's leaving for a little bit to go to Everest?
He's not going to Everest.
Well, he's not going now.
But like beforehand. So it's like, if it is a work, why would you need to do that if he had already announced it beforehand?
I don't think it is a work, though.
Why? What's the point?
Point of what?
I don't think it's a work because he did break his foot.
And then post pictures of him on Everest, like, all right.
No, I think they're just.
No,
I think they're just straight up telling you that he got hurt and he's not going to Everest and he's not going to be on TV.
So it's not.
Yeah. No, it's not a work. No.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I didn't think so. Yeah.
Because some sources online were like, "This is a good way to write him off of television to go to Everest." I'm just like, but he already announced he was leaving.
They already wrote him off by actually saying the truth.
Yeah,
but I thought that thought he said himself that Everest will have to wait.
Yeah, I mean, there's if the X-ray. Yeah. But what, he actually did get hurt in the match.
He got hurt like 5 minutes in, is what they said, and he still wrestled the entire match with a broken foot.
And then they
basically
did the chair shot, where they step on him.
Yeah.
Do you guys notice Cody's wearing that all black suit that he wore when he faced Brody Lee and dyed his hair black?
Yes,
that was not a good look for him.
No, well, I don't like black hair.
The black hair.
It's funny. He looks better with hair that's not his real hair color. Like he has to make himself look like that because he doesn't actually look like that. But he looks.
How often do you think he has to dye it? Tim would know.
Every
what?
I would say every 2 weeks, where it starts to get dark. Because if you do it every week, you could run into the problem. It's really bad for your hair because it's bleach.
Yeah, you can see it like tonight. He's it's like fading a little bit.
Yeah, I think he'll do like right before Mania. Obviously, he'll have like a freshie, and like I think every
nice
couple weeks,
bleach blonde.
Oh yeah, fresh cut, fresh bleach
main
job.
Event. the main event of Dynamite was Willow defeating Rio. Julia Hart and Sky Blue would attack afterwards. Mercedes Monet would come out, make the save, and then a little stare down with Willow, who Mercedes has unfinished business with, which she talked about a little bit in the opening segment. But that was Dynamite. Before we get into the Collision, because they keep advertising it, it was announced today on April 1st, there is the Bray Wyatt documentary coming out. I sent you both the trailer for it.
I can't wait for
that. Looks really good. As Jeremy pointed out, Bo Dallas sounds a lot like Bray.
Mm-hmm.
And he's narrating that video.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
But looks super good.
It was cool to see.
It last week, so I'll mention it.
It was cool to see their dad get the call from Triple H that they were going to get inducted.
Him and Barry Windham.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool.
Did we? I guess we have the full class now, right? It's
Heyman.
It's Heyman, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Bull.
They just showed it earlier. I forget who it was.
What's her name, Tim?
Bull Nakano.
Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, and I feel like there's one more, and I feel bad that I can't think
we have come a long way since the days of Bertha Faye and Bo Nakano. I'll never forget HBK cutting that promo at the Raw 10th anniversary when he gave Trish Stratus the Diva of the Decade, and he's like, "We've come a long way."
And I think that might be. What did Thunderbolt Patterson get announced? I'm seeing online Thunderbolt Patterson.
I don't know. Let's take a look again.
All right. Well, if he does, then we'll see. But no, so last week I mentioned the Rivals and Legends show, and this week I watched this week's episode of Rivals. I watched it today. It was John Cena and Randy Orton. And that was cool to see because I missed their back and forth rivalry because I stopped watching during the PG era. But it was funny to see that whole thing. You see him change from like skinny, pale to like tan, and then like slowly tattooed more. For Randy Orton. I didn't know that they got John Cena's dad involved again in a storyline.
Oh, yeah.
They had interviews with John Cena's dad talking about this rivalry, and it's like he's still like putting on an act. I'm like, oh, he's still so bad.
Cena's dad loves wrestling way too much. He was actually. I saw he went to an AEW show. He was like sitting like front row on the hard cam side.
He could have been at it for big business.
He probably was there.
And then
he's crazy.
Then they did the Legends episode was on DDP. I've never seen anything like this for DDP. It was super. I thought it was super interesting. Though it's the only episode so far this season that they only gave him 1 hour instead of 2. I'm like, you gave Sergeant Slaughter 2 hours, but you gave DDP 1.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
DDP deserves 2 hours.
But I never really knew DDP's like evolution. It's always like you see him as a manager, and then next thing you know, you see him. Like they talked about, like like what made him really go over was when he turned down the NWO.
Yeah, he gave Scott Hall the diamond cutter.
But before then, it's like when he started wrestling,
I want to take the diamond cutter.
Colorful tights.
That's a famous story where he's like, "What do you want to do?" He's like, he asked Macho Man, he's like, "What do you want to do tonight?" He's like, "I think I want to take the diamond cutter." And then he became a star.
That was really good. I enjoyed it. All right, let's get to Collision.
DDP Living Positively, the documentary is also on Peacock for anybody who wants like a deeper story. It's
that's a good one.
Does that go into his life, like his?
That's
career,
like his whole life from when he was a
episode?
kid.
Okay.
From when he was a bartender, from when he was a bouncer to how he met, how he got in the business. He was a manager, and then they were like, "You're too big to be a manager, but you're too old to be a wrestler." And then like, it was like a whole thing. But yeah, he has a cool story.
Yeah, in this they were saying that like when he was a manager, they're like basically said he was too over. People were getting distracted with him at ringside instead of the focusing on the wrestlers, which sell the ticket.
Yeah,
because he was flashy and he could talk and all that. And he's like, so you're telling me I'm too over to be in wrestling, or I'm too over the top for wrestling? Is what he said.
Yeah.
So yeah, Collision opened up with Bryan Danielson defeating Shibata. I'm sure this was a match that a lot of people had wanted to see. And I'm sure it's a match on Bryan Danielson's list that he wanted to check off before retiring. Kyle O'Reilly would have his first match back against Brian Keith. I think long hair suits Kyle O'Reilly more than the
I think so.
Did you guys see the stuff? We don't have to go too far into it because I don't want to. But Ryback is just like
what?
I try to ignore as much as I can, but
dude,
what's he saying now?
I didn't see it.
Ryback's like, I got some stories that'll blow the Vince McMahon stuff out of the water, and then he's like,
that's actually really good Ryback.
Yeah, and then he's like Triple H, and he starts talking about a rumor of Triple H and some diva,
Caitlyn,
Triple H and Caitlyn. He starts talking about that, and then he's like, and then there's the whole Kyle O'Reilly John Cena situation where they basically hazed him and had him do all this weird stuff, and like I was just like, I don't know if any of this is
Alex
true.
Riley.
Oh wait,
Alex
Riley. Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about Alex Riley.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No, Kyle O'Reilly.
Kyle O'Reilly.
Undisputed era guy. All right, my bad.
Yes. He almost wasn't going to wrestle ever again, and now he's back. And he forgot his name.
Alex Riley is not in AEW.
Dude, Alex Riley is the man. He's my new favorite wrestler.
The only good thing I've seen with Alex Riley is when WWE did that shock or that like prank show with the Jackass guy, and he would get shocked on the stool.
Remember they were pushing him so hard in NXT?
Yeah, he like came back. He was all buff and hairy and had like long hair.
Yeah.
He was doing like a Triple H type thing. They were trying something there.
Yeah.
Okay, so because Sting and Darby won their match at Revolution, they had to vacate the titles, and they started this tournament now to determine the new champions. So we had the Infantry, which is what's his name? Captain Sean Dean?
No, something like that.
Captain Lou Albano. I got you.
Yeah, it was Captain Lou Albano and I forget the other guy's name, but they
call this one the Captain Lou.
They defeated the House of Black due to Mark Briscoe's distraction. So the infantry, who I guess no one probably thought was going to win the match, would end up winning.
Yeah, they're trying to push them a lot more.
Yeah, and then there was this segment with Adam Copeland. Basically, so they have an I Quit match.
The artist formerly known as Edge.
The artist formerly known as Edge. Yeah, he came out and he had that case that was with him the week before, right?
Yeah, it said Spike on it, and then we didn't know what it was.
No, so he said he called, basically hinting that he said Mrs. Foley's baby boy. So
yeah, so Mick Foley.
Yeah, and he said, since he created Barbie, he said, so I created Spike, which is it's a black painted 2x4 with like 4-inch nails coming out of it everywhere. And he's basically saying he's going to use it on Christian Cage. He said, I'm not going to refer to you as Jay anymore because Jay's dead.
Yeah. I didn't think they needed to build it up this much for a Spike weapon.
No. Should have just brought it out during the match.
Yeah, just why would you build it up and it's like, all right, this is just another weapon that you guys use.
They're trying to take it from, because when in like Backlash 03 or 02, it was Orton versus Foley, and Mick did this whole unveiling of Barbie where he like took him out of the bag and he was like, this is Barbie. So like I feel like Edge was trying to like borrow a little bit of that.
Yeah, that was from that and not from Foley and Edge themselves.
No, I think Barbie was created against Orton.
Yeah, I also feel like it's
before that.
No, they would just use a 2x4 with like shitty little barbed wire, but then Mick Foley had this bat with like a billion things of barbed wire wrapped around it.
It was like tightly wrapped.
Yeah,
okay, I remember.
Thick.
Yeah. I saw Edge's Spike thing. I was like, God.
I know. I feel like it made more sense for Mick Foley though, because he's like a hardcore wrestler, and then Edge is not.
Edge said, "I'm the rated R superstar."
Just like
all
that.
These bad thoughts, he said.
Don't look at me with those bug eyes, sir. I'm talking to this guy. one of the best
that he added Stir was like the funniest
dude. One of the best. Honestly, I will forever love Ricky Starks just for that line. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Don't look at me with this bug eyes.
I'm talking to this guy.
Does have bug eyes.
I'm talking to this guy.
Sir.
Also, speaking of Ricky Starks, where is he? They lost the tag titles.
The tournament. Big Bill and him are in the tag tournament.
I have noticed though, ever since he told Adam Copeland that he had bug eyes and called him sir, he has
been off TV a little bit.
His push hasn't been nearly as good.
All right, SmackDown. Dun, 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 dun. The Rock came out. Hey, say what you want. People are loving The Rock. Maybe not at first when he came back. People are loving The Rock now.
Do you think he's going to get cheered at Mania?
Yes.
Like during the match?
I'm a fucking cheer for him. What about you, Tim? You think The Rock will get cheered at Mania?
Dude, I'm gonna cheer for The Rock at Mania because I'm like, this is it. I'll never see this again. So I'm going ham. I'm cheering everybody. I'm cheering Drew McIntyre. I'm cheering everybody. Every entrance, heel and babyface, I'm standing up.
Dom, I'm gonna be cheering for Dom.
Hell yeah.
Cheering
for everyone, man.
Dude, I'm cheering for everyone. I'm just happy to be there.
For CM Punk.
Yeah.
When the Hardys come out for the 6-man ladder match, they were like, "We're gonna do your debut again the same way."
Yeah, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's the Hardys again."
It won't be as much hype.
They should have just retired. They should have just retired after that match, dude. The craziest.
Oh yeah, they should.
Like pop ever was at that Mania when the New Day introduced them.
That was one of the best.
Me and Tim watched it together, and we freaked out. We were like, "Oh, man."
Yeah, because like that was at a point you're like, I'm not sure if they're actually going to show up or not, or if they signed them.
But the
because it was at midnight.
Was so big right around that.
Yeah.
So it was like the hype. And they had just wrestled the Bucks the night before and lost the ROH
And
tag.
Andy and I went. I think Andy was with me, or at least I was there. We went and saw them. Didn't you come with me to MCW? And and they had just wrestled at MCW in like a bingo hall, and then they came back at Mania.
Yeah, I have the autograph.
That's crazy.
There. The Forresters met the Hardys.
Yeah, Forrester boys and the Hardy boys. Then you got the Young Bucks, who are the Hardley boys. The Hardley boys.
The Hardley boys.
So this Rock segment, he had his final boss entrance, but mid-entrance after the Lightning Man, it switched to Hollywood Rock theme song.
Ah, it was good.
Everyone on TikTok's like, "We did it! They actually did it!" Dude, it was great.
So good.
Which is another thing I did not think I was going to hear in 2024.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when that first song first came out, I hated it because he'd do that.
I hated it.
It was like, "It's cooking, it's cooking." But dude, it's so good now. It's nostalgic now. Yeah. It's so awesome.
The transition they put in was really nice.
Yeah, it was done really well.
Yeah.
I mean, Rock's gonna make sure he has the coolest fucking entrance out of.
I know.
He's like, well, the Mania entrance is gonna be mind blowing. If Smackdown's is that good,
it's gonna be like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, but so was that Andy? Was that you that somebody asked? You or Jeremy asked? How long do you think between Roman and Rock's entrance at Mania we're gonna be? We're gonna be sitting there.
It's like 30 minutes at least.
I mean, when Roman, well, it wasn't this Roman, so I was gonna say when Roman faced Taker.
I know I'm like looking way too far. I know I'm looking way too far into it, but do you ever notice that Roman and Rock both do like the blue lightning thing? They both have like the big the baby blue like lightning going crazy in their entrance. I didn't know if Roman did that as like an homage to Rock originally or what, but I've noticed it since the beginning.
I think his was probably more of like from the Shield stuff because they kind of kept that color with him.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. What do you think? Over under let's say 20 minutes for their entrance combined.
It's gonna be 20 minutes at least. 20
Dude,
minutes.
Seth. I think people forget Seth can take a while too with the way he just goes back and side to side coming down.
Do you want to do everyone's all four combined? I think it's definitely over 20 minutes. Starts? Yeah, over 20 minutes for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Seth is gonna be standing there. The crowd's gonna be going, oh.
Yeah, and then like, Cody's entrance.
Yeah, then you got Cody.
Cody's gonna take.
He's got the. There's more. One royal family, and then it's gonna be like, he's gonna come up from the floor and then like
all of the pyro's gonna go off the entire stadium. I don't know.
Speaking of Mania, do you think Rikishi gets involved in Jimmy and Jay?
Yeah, I hope not.
I think he makes an appearance. I don't think he's gonna involve though.
Or he should get involved in the storyline on a Raw or SmackDown before.
Yeah, like the build up to it. Yeah.
I know you guys have seen the post, though, going around. April 6, 1980, it was Sika versus Dusty. Mm-hmm. Now, April 6, 2024, it's going to be Roman versus Cody.
That's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So
we're just going to keep you right where you at. We're just going to keep you at where you at, baby, because that's where you at right now.
By the way, I hope the listeners enjoyed the post this week, starting with Stu Hart.
Dude, people love the Stu Hart post on the backup account got like mad love. People were loving it.
Guys, listeners, give the real account some love too. All right, not the backup.
But it was the original, but then it's the backup. So Andy could change more frequently.
Yeah.
You know what,
guys? Let's switch it back to the other
It doesn't say the PW Fan pod anymore. It's just the PW Fan now.
No, but we can't switch it back to the other one because Andy was trying to do daily like updates.
I know.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm doing dailies over here, guys. Give me some love.
Dailies.
Working.
No, there's sorry. Well, that Dusty impression I was doing was there's an old Stone Cold DVD where they're asking him like, what was a VHS actually, where they're asking him like, he's like, yeah, they came to me and told me that me and Brian were going to tag team, and then I said, well, I was fixing to do the singles thing, and then Dusty said, well, we're just going to keep you at where you're at right now because that's where you're at right now, baby.
God. All right, this we still have barely started SmackDown.
Are we going to actually get into the Rock segment now?
Yeah, so The Rock was in Memphis. The Rock lived in Memphis for a while. He says he got his start in wrestling in Memphis. Forget what he said his name was when he wrestled there. But I'm actually, if I can, Tim, since you watched it the most recently, passing over to you.
The Rock comes out. He's doing his old school shtick, and everybody needs a good Rock concert. There's no Rock return in 2024 without a Rock concert. So he didn't play guitar this time. He played it safe. He had two other guys playing a guitar and a harmonica.
Guitar and harmonica, yeah.
So that way he didn't have to, because there's been times where he's done both or all three. So he starts off where people are like kind of loving him because they know it's going to be funny. Whatever he's going to do next is going to be funny. And my favorite part was because he's reposted it a few times where he was like, somebody's like, I love you. And he was like, I love you too, honey. Thank you for saying that. And then it like zooms out. He's like, you sound like
the Rock's type.
He said, you sound like somebody the Rock could love. Drunk and horny.
The song had like sex puns in it. It mocked Rollins and his wife, called Cody Rhodes a mistake.
I like the sorry, I was gonna say I like the last line. I think it was one of the last lines, the Ja Morant one. I don't know if you guys know what that's referencing, but it's a basketball player who had a gun and it was on Instagram Live and he got suspended. So he's like waving a gun around. So that's why he was like made that joke about Ja Morant in the song.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't catch the reference.
Yeah, and he plays for a Memphis basketball team as well.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
So that's why everyone like loves him there.
Right over my head. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see though. So once the song was over, though, he showed the clips of Cody Rhodes slapping him, and then he said, "You could have come back and said something." Cut a nice promo basically on Raw, and he said, he's like, you were crying. You're like, give it to my mommy. And like anytime Rock does that voice, dude, that part makes me laugh.
I know. Yeah.
Cody's got to finish.
I also also on his Instagram when he did like another video
before,
and he was like
SmackDown.
He's like, you went out there. He's like, and you fucking cried. He just kept saying that.
So I heard that some wrestlers are mad though that The Rock can get his promos over and say all this stuff, but they can't push it the same way.
I mean, that's fair though because
he's the final boss. He actually refers to himself as the final boss.
Yeah, but like, imagine if they did let all the wrestlers do that sort of thing on social media. I think that'd be really cool.
Well, I mean, it could be like the Attitude Era, but the modern way. You know what I mean? Like,
so it's like off TV.
Yeah, because then you're still building it online. Like if you're and I know that they'll do it every now and then, but there was a while where like Kevin Owens was like beefing with people on Twitter, and it always made the storyline seem like better. MJF is good at that sometimes.
Makes it better, yeah, it makes it a lot better.
Yeah, The Rock's a smart guy.
What's Andy doing?
What are you doing?
Are you like watching the segment right now?
I found the part where he's like, you sound like
hold that up to the mic.
Hold on.
Now The Rock is going to cover a lot of stuff in this song, but what he's going to cover first is what's going to happen. I love you too, honey. Thank you for saying that. You sound like somebody The Rock can love, drunk and horny. So.
No, I was looking for the part that when he's like, "You were crying."
Yeah.
I was looking for that
that
part.
voice.
I wanted to play that part on.
Yeah,
on
that
the,
voice cracks
on
me
the
up
pod.
though.
But taking too long to find anyway, so no worries about it. But
That's fine.
I love.
We can post it on our socials.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving The Rock being back. I think it's great. Every segment lately, every week has been really good and really funny.
People, you see that stat? He's like, The Rock's been on more shows than Roman this year.
Yeah, didn't I send it to you guys?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm super excited. I'm just counting down the days. What do we have?
19 days.
Is that it?
Yeah, 19 days.
That's like only a little over
March
2 weeks.
18th right now.
A little over 2 weeks,
crazy.
a little under 3 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So this tag team tournament also continued on SmackDown. This was after the Rock segment. We had Legado del Fantasma defeating the LWO to move on in the tag tournament. LA Knight had a segment where he would come out, stand at the top of the ramp, and he would challenge AJ Styles to WrestleMania, and AJ would come out and attack him from behind. And while LA Knight was laying down, AJ set up a chair to where it was sitting on his neck, and AJ would sit on it, take the mic, lean down on him, and accept his challenge. Love and heel AJ. I'm going to be real sad when he loses because I feel like they're going to make Knight win, but...
yeah. Heel AJ, I feel like, is always better.
Has AJ lost all of his WrestleMania matches?
No. Didn't he beat Shane McMahon? He beat Shinsuke?
Yeah.
Him and Omos won the titles, didn't they?
Oh, that's right.
The dark times.
Oh, God.
That was the dark.
Dude,
that was the dark AJ time. I hated when they were doing that to him.
Did he beat Randy Orton?
I don't think so.
The Viper got him?
All right. So he's won 3 then, at least.
I can't believe.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it. Okay, he lost to Jericho.
I can't believe he's had as many as he has. Jeremy's calling me out.
He's lost to Jericho, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jericho, Shinsuke, Randy, Taker. He lost in the cinematic match.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's more that we're not thinking of, but oh well. Anyway, Logan Paul wants repercussions for Randy's actions last week. Jimmy Uso would accept Jay's challenge. Nick Aldis would announce that Logan Paul will defend his U.S. title at WrestleMania against Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. God, Booker Andy called it again.
So we got the shirt.
And
you can get that shirt.
Andy's intense this episode.
Yeah, you can get that shirt on ProWrestlingTees.com.
We called Jimmy and Jay a while ago. I really do think this Mania was supposed to be Gunther and Brock. Just saying. I think it was.
I think it was too.
Maybe not.
Well, not now.
Yeah, definitely not. Rey Mysterio came out to help came out to help Carlito from Santos Escobar.
That could be a match that's added.
Well, this is the thing. I thought it was going to be that because that's what we've been predicting. That's what Booker Andy's been booking. But he challenges Santos to a match next week.
Yeah, but something can happen and then make it like a tag team match or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, so we were saying, there's 5 matches right now. If you divide up the matches evenly, you get 5 matches per show right now. Every pay-per-view in the past, basically ever since Triple H took over, has had no more than 6 matches on it.
Okay.
It's a regular match.
Yeah.
So if it was like a chamber or something, it'd be like 5. So they could add, one more to each show. What's Lashley doing? What's Bianca doing? What's, there's some stuff they could do, but unless they overload it. But I really thought Santos and Ray would be on Mania, but at least for now, they're having a match this Friday. So we'll see. Again, with the tag team tournament, we had another match. The New Catch Republic, which is Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, defeated Pretty Deadly to move on. I'm hoping they get in the match. DIY gets in the match.
Well, DIY from tonight is
Miss Truth. I want the Miss Truth to get into the match. I don't know why I can't think of other teams right now. Creed Brothers lost. I don't know. There's a whole bracket out there. I should probably be looking at it, but the main event was Bayley versus Dakota Kai, which ended in disqualification. Naomi comes out to help, and then Damage Control takes her out as well. I think people were chanting EST, but that never happened. She did not come out to help. Tim's taking big old hits over here, dude. If you're watching on video, you can see, but if you're not, and you're wondering what we're laughing at, that's what we're laughing. Tim hitting his pen.
Mute himself.
Tim had to walk away from the mic. You know what's fucked up? Tim doesn't let me hit my pen inside at his house. He's just willy-nilly in it. No.
Oh. Well.
Not allowed. Not allowed.
I just left as you're talking, and Tim's like over there.
Tim won't let me hit the pen in his house, but Tim just is taking rips.
It's a secret.
Secret.
Tim, I was listening to Andy talk, and then I look over, and you're like, mute yourself, and you're like just coughing up so much.
It is cooking. All right.
It's cooking.
All right, sorry, Andy, go ahead.
But there's nothing else to talk about, boys. That was the end of the. We're ending it with Tim's hit. Tim was taking us out. Tim, do you have a classic show of the week?
That I do, guys. We're getting close to Mania. We're in high times, especially emphasis on high.
We're still 13K in debt, but we are in high time.
We've managed to pay some of that off. It's okay. All right. My classic show of the week this week. 10 years ago, WrestleMania 30. Now, a lot of these names are going to be names that are around today. Some are still there. Some are in AEW. Some are on the indies. But you'll pretty much know everybody, and it's just interesting to see how in 10 years, how much has changed. So, starting off, we have the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, in a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Elimination Tournament. Or elimination match. So it's Cesaro and Jack Swagger versus Curtis Axel and Ryback versus the Usos versus the Matadors. So that's kind of an interesting
Curtis
match.
Axel and Ryback.
I know, right? Second match, we have Triple H versus Daniel Bryan in a singles match. Third match on the show. This is where things get real interesting as far as the people that are in the matches. The Shield, Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. Jon Moxley, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins against Kane and the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. There was a 31-man Andre the Giant Battle Royal, followed by John Cena against Bray Wyatt in a singles match. But this is not the John Cena Bray Wyatt match that was cinematic where he got dragged into the ring and all this. So they've had two Mania matches.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was the one where everyone was singing that song for Bray Wyatt. It was really over. Yeah.
Brock Lesnar against The Undertaker. The match. The one.
Yeah.
The one and the 1 in 21 or whatever it was.
The 1 in
21. Women's match, Vicky Guerrero Invitational. Weird. Alicia Fox, Brie Bella. Wow, the women's division is in 10 years is unrecognizable. So AJ Lee, Oksana, Alicia Fox, Brie Bella, Cameron, Emma, Eva Marie, Layla, Naomi. Okay, Naomi's just came back. Natalia, Nikki Bella, Rosa Mendez, Summer Rae, Tamina Snuka. Wow. That's like,
wow.
There's like none there except for like maybe one.
Yeah.
And Natalia makes appearances sometimes. And the final match is a triple threat, and it is Daniel Bryan versus Batista versus Randy Orton. Big moment, big match.
That one.
Yep. It's so this Mania in 10 years later is very interesting. It's weird.
Yeah.
It feels like just so different, and a lot of these people are in different places. So yeah, that's, I just found it fascinating.
Interesting.
Yeah, and and we're obviously very excited to be at Mania in a few weeks, so I thought it was appropriate. Yeah, so this was episode 122. I'm correct in saying that, right? 122?
Yep.
122. So thank you all so much for joining us. Again, sorry I was a little late. Had a couple internet issues. You might notice if you're watching on video that I've popped in and out a few times. I still had a couple internet issues, but hey, thank you all so much. Thank you for listening every week. It means a ton to us, and hopefully you laughed a little bit, because that's my favorite part of the show, is just joking around with these guys. So we will see you next week for episode 123.